If you've ever felt like your dreams were too big, your confidence too shaky, or your passions just too all over the place to make sense, today's guest is living proof that your beautiful, multifaceted life is your superpower. Joining me today is the vibrant, fearless, and endlessly inspiring April Storm Perry. She's an actress, comedian, makeup artist, wellness coach, and all-around creative force whose story is one of transformation, self-discovery, and radical self-love. She's walked through insecurity, navigated reinvention, and now she's helping others to heal, not by pretending to have all the answers, but simply by showing up with authenticity, joy, and heart. So, get cozy, grab your tea or your wellness beverage of choice, and let's dive in. Welcome everybody to the Web Remedy Podcast. I'm Rinnie Orr, the host, and my special guest today is April Storm Perry. I've had the honor of working with her for the last couple of months as she is in what we call the ideation stage of some new offerings for her life and business, and we're really excited to have her here today. I think you're going to enjoy April as much as I do. She's bright and colorful and amazing speaker, amazing woman, amazing human being, and we're just really super excited to have her on the podcast and learn more about what she's bringing into the world and how she is showing up and authentically living. April, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your kind words, because I find you just as wonderful. Honestly, it's been a pleasure working with you, and you've really helped me take ownership of my brand and what I have to offer, so I appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about your brand for a little bit, because oftentimes when I'm working with the entrepreneurs that we work with, I'm working on helping them sell a product
Yes.
or a service. But with you, it's almost like, well, we're trying to brand the whole persona
Yes.
of April Storm Perry, because
Yes.
you have a lot of different things that you do. You've got acting and comedy and heal, which we'll talk about more
Yes.
in a little bit. And we've
Yes.
got all these things. And so let's jump in.
Yeah, let's just jump in. It's so funny because as you're trying to describe me, that's exactly how I feel in trying to describe myself, because I've got my foot in so many different things, and it's not on purpose. It's all haphazard, just from my life. Ever since I was a little girl, I would watch fashion television, which was the show that came on, and Lauren Azersky was the host, and she's still around and still in fashion. And I was living in New York at the time, born in Brooklyn, and I would look at all of the top models, and they were it was Naomi and Linda Evangelista and Cindy Crawford and Claudia Schiffer, and they would all be traveling all around the world, like Milan, Tokyo, Paris, and that was just something that I naturally, as a little girl, was drawn to. So I was in dance class when I was young. I went to the 59th Street School of Dance, which is now, I think, Broadway Dance Center in New York. So I always had this urge to perform and to be on camera and to do something fabulous. However, as a young African-American girl growing up in America, my self-esteem was not really there. I didn't really know who I was. I knew what I wanted, but I felt that what I wanted was very far away from what I could actually accomplish. When I was 8, we moved to North Carolina from Brooklyn, and I wasn't able to take dance class anymore because my mom couldn't afford it at the time. But growing up in North Carolina was still a wonderful opportunity for me to explore, going from the inner city to, being able to play outside in the woods all night, ride my bike everywhere. It was a wonderful upbringing, and I had really great friends along the way who really helped guide me. But I feel like I would always look at their life and compare it to mine. Now, I have a wonderful family. Wonderful mom, but I would always compare my friend's life where they had two parents in the house and they didn't have all these people living in the house and all of their cars were like nice, not so janky. And, my friends got to participate in dance classes and things like that when I wasn't able to because we couldn't afford it. But then in high school, I became a cheerleader and I got on the dance team. And I was doing everything else that my friends were doing, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But the self-esteem part wasn't there. I always felt like I was kind of like an observer, observing other people living their life, and I was just a part of something, but I wasn't really a part of something. As a little girl, I was really self-conscious about the way that I looked. I had natural hair, and in the South, most of the girls wore their hair with a relaxer. I wanted my hair long. I never thought my hair was long enough. I thought my eyes were too big, my forehead was too big, my teeth were too big. So I used to be afraid to smile, which is crazy now because I feel like that's one of the things that I'm known for. But it took a lot for me to like really realize who I was. But that desire to take something from nothing and like try your best to look better, that was something that I was always interested in. So I would do my friends' hair and they would do my hair. We would play around in makeup and all of that stuff. And yeah, that kind of like led me down that journey of beauty and self-care. It was always something that I was always interested in. Yeah, and it just always made me feel like really feminine and beautiful. So
Yeah, I know. Just from personal experience, when I met up with you a few weeks ago, when we talked about your business, and we're going to be talking about your launch of your
yes,
new part of your business here
yes,
shortly. But after we got done talking, we went into the mall, and you convinced me to buy like a fortune worth of skincare products. I mean, you just have this natural sort of way of salesmanship, that's just amazing. It's like you talk to you, and like all of a sudden I'm spending more money on skincare products than I've ever spent in my life.
yeah,
So yeah, it's just a lot of fun to hang out with you and to get that confidence, that boost of spirit. But that said, you have built your career on many different paths,
yeah,
like, you're bridging performance and
yes,
comedy and
yes,
wellness and
yes.
beauty and influencer, confidence building. So, how would you describe what you do? Because we always often talk about like having a 30-second elevator pitch.
Yes.
If somebody's in the elevator with you, you've got 30 seconds
Yeah.
to describe. Can you do it? What would you say?
Okay. I would say that I'm an actress and comedian, a makeup artist, a fitness enthusiast, and at one point a fitness coach. I would say that I'm a wellness coach and an educator because I've worked as a teaching artist, empowering all sorts of populations, but definitely the youth and using their voice in various forms like doing improv and acting. I would say that I'm a natural born entrepreneur. I always wanted to have my own business when I was younger. Before, I used to want to be a hairdresser. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a hairdresser and I'm going to have a spa where all the women can go and take care of themselves. And it was going to be called a Heads Up. And then after college, I went to UNC. I wound up getting my degree in communication studies with a concentration in media studies. So the plan was to work behind the scenes in the entertainment industry because, again, I was always really big on, I don't know, I just wanted to do something like really fun and fabulous. But after college, it was hard for me to find a job in North Carolina doing what I wanted to do. So I took a job as a makeup artist at a Mac counter. It was when South Point first opened, and I was so excited about this job because I was always like doing makeovers on my friends, and every time we were going to be going out, I was always doing their makeup and my makeup. So for me, working at Mac was like a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to, work with people of all races, sexes, or genders, just everyone. And that was, I can't remember what the exact slogan was, but basically MAC was for everyone. Makeup, art, cosmetics was for everyone. So that was an initial way of allowing me the opportunity to put makeup on so many different people and so many different types of people. And for me, makeup is artistry and it's also empowerment. Um, I actually wanted to work at the Bobby Brown counter, which was directly across from the Mac counter, but Bobby Brown didn't have any openings. And I had always loved Bobby Brown cosmetics because when I was 16, it was me, my sister, and my best friend. We went to Atlanta to visit like a close neighbor who was kind of like a family member at that point. And she was just so amazing. She took us to the mall. I think we were at Lenox Square. We went to the Bobby Brown counter, and the beauty consultants gave us all makeovers, and they showed us exactly how to put everything on and what brushes to use, and they set up a face chart for us, and then we took pictures, and then this wonderful neighbor bought everything that they used on us. And it was just such an amazing experience because I feel like a lot of times when people go to makeup counters, you'll get like this amazing makeover, but it's like, well, I can't do this at home. And if you can't do it at home, then, at what point does it really serve? So that was my first, that was like my first official time having my makeup done, but also learning how to do makeup. And because we were able to take the products home with the brushes and everything, it really just sparked my interest. And it also sparked my interest in not just doing makeup for other people, but teaching people how to do it. And the reason why I really, really enjoyed Bobby Brown Cosmetics was because I always loved her makeup philosophy, which was keeping it simple, and I felt like it was makeup for every woman. And I've always naturally been into inclusivity because I don't think that beauty is something that is reserved for a certain type of person. Beauty is for everyone. And I feel like if you look good, you feel better. And if you feel good, you look better. So I also love that Bobby Brown would also, in her books, and I had collected a lot of her books along the years, she would also include things about skincare and exercise and drinking enough water. Those are also things that I feel really go into looking and feeling your best. So like it's always about the whole person. So that has just been an interest of mine. So yeah, a year after college, I moved to New York, and my first makeup job, official makeup job, I was the hair, makeup, and design assistant at the New York City Ballet.
Wow,
Yes.
that's exciting.
It was very exciting, really scary because it was like my first real makeup job. And I remember I started the day after Thanksgiving, which was the opening of the Nutcracker at the Lincoln Center. So this is a huge deal. And I was working under a man named Michael Avedon, who was the nephew of the famous fashion photographer Richard Avedon. And at that time, I only knew how to do like makeovers, but this was makeup for theater, and this was also makeup for ballerinas. So they wore pancake makeup, and it was like this, a pancake pot, and you would wet it and use a sponge, and you would put that all over their body. And then the prima ballerinas would get their makeup done by Michael Avedon. And I was kind of just in the learning process of learning how to do something that I had no idea how to do, and I wasn't very confident in it. And I would say the challenge has always been my best teacher because he definitely challenged me. I was really intimidated, and for me, when I'm feeling intimidated, I feel like my mind goes blank. But I worked there for about 2 or 3 months. I wound up not staying at that job because I found it very intense. And it was the first time that I had to like learn how to stand up for myself because at times he could be challenging. But I would say that that experience was a gift in and of itself because I learned so much, and I remember he let me work for 2 weeks until my unemployment kicked in, and I gave him a card to say thank you for the opportunity on my last day of work. And he said to me, you know, you should really think about going into television. And I had no idea why he said that. But my oldest sister, Stephanie, who's also a part of Web Squared, right before I moved to New York, she was like, "You're going to be an actress, April." And I just was not connecting the dots at all. Like, I was just like, no, definitely not. But hearing it from Michael Avedon, I soon went into acting after that. My first internship in New York, I worked for a talent manager. And the first thing that she said to me was, "Are you here to work for me or audition for me?" And I was like, "Work for you." And especially when I worked as her assistant, it was her calling her actors who were getting appointments or auditions with casting directors. And I was just like, wait, so what do? They just sit around and just wait for people to call them? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, who would want to do that? And then fast forward, I became an actor. I went back to the person that I used to work with, and she didn't want to work with me because I was fairly new, but she set me in the right direction. And yeah, like a year later, I booked my first 2 commercials, and yeah, that started my acting journey.
I asked for a 30-second elevator pitch.
Oh, sorry.
I guess we'll have to work on that a little bit. How do we do this in 30 seconds?
How do we do it in 30 seconds?
But anyway, moving on. It was beautiful. Thank you so
you.
much for sharing. I loved hearing every second of it. You have so many pots. What does it mean for you, the words being focused and grounded, when you have so many pots that you're stirring at the same time?
Well, when I figure it out, I'll let you know. Honestly, I overwhelm myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for me to keep up, but one of the things that I learned was like, these are all gifts. I really feel like I was given gifts to share with other people. So to just embrace everything as it comes. And I feel like life has set me up to develop different skills that I never thought that I would need to develop. So focus normally is like whatever's going on at the moment, you know, like I feel like the only thing that I can do is take care of what's right in front of me and to be there and to show up fully present as much as I can. And grounding, I don't always feel grounded, to be completely honest, but now that I've more developed my spiritual practice, grounded just means like connecting like with myself and my purpose every day in whatever way that it's showing up in my life at that moment, and being there. Otherwise, when I need to get grounded now, I just go outside and take a walk. Being from New York City, I always I still love walking and talking on the phone while just taking in the views. So I just take a walk in nature in North Carolina, and it does help ground me a lot.
I would, maybe if it's okay for me to say, it sounds like you are harmoniously evolving in the moment.
Yes, yes, yes. That is definitely what brings me to this idea of having a collective. I think I mentioned before, like I always wanted to do something specifically for women. I think because I grew up in a single parent household with like so many women in my life, so many strong women in my life, like my mother, my sister Stephanie, and they've been like my guideposts. And I always just wanted to give back because I know how it feels to be insecure. And I know what little things that you can do to help boost yourself and your self-esteem. And I think about like beauty less from a superficial standpoint, but more from what can I do to put energy into myself that makes me feel good. So that's what it's all about. So over the course of my life, I've had many ups and downs, many twists and turns. It's been a roller coaster. A lot of the things that I've done, I never saw myself doing, like comedy. I had no interest in being a stand-up comedian. But as an actress, I got to become a teaching artist, and from being a teaching artist, I met another teaching artist who was doing what was he doing? He was doing like some short film, and he was looking for comedians, and he was kind of recreating his experience. And I played a comedian, but I wrote the jokes that I was going to be saying. And then I was in an audition, and a guy, it was a group audition, so in an audition you have to introduce yourself. Hi, my name is April Storm Perry, and sometimes I'll be like, tell me something fun about yourself. So the guy who was next to me, he introduced himself as a comedian, and after the audition I'm like, oh wow, you're a comedian, that's so cool. I would never have the guts to do that. He was like, oh well, I took a class, and then I wound up taking a class, and next thing you know, I was a stand-up comedian. So that has been my life. So going back to the question, HEAL stands for Harmoniously Evolving, Authentically Living. And I really think that that is the course of my life. And I think that HEAL is something that we all need to do. And if we do, then we can live in a better world. I believe that like people who are truly happy do live in harmony with their environment. So harmony is something that I value, because harmony doesn't mean balance, because things aren't always balanced. But if things can work in harmony, that means it all goes together and it makes something beautiful, even amongst the differences. So, and evolving, I would say, is because we're in a constant state of change and evolution. You know, like I feel like my healing journey, quote unquote, is something that will continually evolve. And I'll be in different stages of my life and learn different lessons, and I can apply that. And authentically living, I think that it's taken a lot for me to learn to accept myself for all of who I am. And the only way that I learned that was by living. And for me, living means following your heart, and also, you know, taking the mistakes that you make along the way. And I've always had a zest for life. And I have made a lot of mistakes, but in those mistakes, I have grown so much. And I try to be authentic with my story. And I feel like a lot of times people are afraid to show up authentically because the world in which we live in isn't always accepting. So it's hard. And there have been times in my life when I didn't show up as authentically as I wanted to. And some of those times, the choice was unconscious. You know, a lot of times we're afraid to be ourselves because we don't feel safe or because of shame. And there were hurdles that I had to get through in order to feel like it was okay for me to show up authentically. So when I see someone else who is struggling with that, I just want to help them, mostly because I know how it feels. Yeah, so.
Well, I mean, this notion of harmoniously evolving, authentically living, right now it's more than just a catchphrase,
Yes.
right? You are creating a whole slew of projects and programs around HEAL.
Yes.
And you're going to be launching in September all of
Yes.
these activities and workshops, and
Yes.
you're bringing your whole self into this
Yes.
project. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you envision what this HEAL program will look like, and
Yes.
how you will, I guess, step into this space and, you know, lead women to be confident and
Yes.
strong and
Yeah. And I would say less than lead. I would like to like walk alongside and let people know that healing is not a straight line. It's not linear. It's not always pretty, and it's not the same for everybody. So my healing journey may look different for someone else's healing journey. We all have things that we're into and we're not into, things that we resonate with and we don't resonate with. And for me in my life, a lot of it has been trial and error. Like it's been like I've been in a problem and then I needed to solve it. I've always been I'm really sensitive, like a just a naturally empathetic person, which also means that I have high anxiety. So I would say the first part of like me learning to heal was when my mom would tell me, April, you need to take B vitamins because you're always so stressed. And my mom worked at Whole Foods for 25 years. So she was always into, and she was a registered dietitian when living in New York. So I was always pretty conscious of like what you put in your body and how you treat your body. I had an awful temper when I was young. That's where the storm in April storm Perry comes from. On top of the fact that I was born during a winter storm in April. But the other part of it is my brother would compare my temper to a tornado. So I had to learn how to calm myself down. And that took me on many different journeys. I feel like most of my life I've been pretty introspective and I was always searching or yearning for something more. And now I can see it as just searching for the meaning of my life. And for me, there's an interconnectedness between my life and then the life of the people around me. I think it really goes hand in hand. So I just really want to help people who are suffering. And it doesn't mean that like that can look different in different ways. But let's say if it's a busy mom who hasn't had time to put any energy into herself, healing could be, going to the mall with them, showing them a few products that they can get just to help spruce themselves up so they can have that. Maybe it's only 5 minutes of self-care when they have to go back and then take care of the rest of the world or everyone in their world. And yeah, so healing can be, helping someone with makeup. Healing can be speaking to a group of people. I think that I love like one-on-one conversations. I love being there for my friends as they're going through things, as they are there for me as I'm going through things. So heal is being an open ear and a good listener and offering encouragement when someone is feeling stuck in whatever part of their life. Healing now for me is also like healing my gut through, learning what foods make me feel more energized, especially as I am in perimenopause now. Like healing was different like 10 years ago because my body was different then. Healing is just offering resources that other people have, like, whether it's a juice bar or therapy or people who are on like a spiritual journey. This is what I practice. Healing could be journaling. It could just be taking a walk. But I think that it's something that's accessible to everybody and it should be accessible to everybody. And I think a lot of times in like this whole self-care world, most of it is like really expensive. So it seems like healing is only for the people who have money. And I'm like, that's not the case. There are so many different ways that you can heal. And I don't believe in a one size fits all approach because everyone is different. So heal for me is a collective. Hopefully it'll be workshops where I can empower people on different challenges that they may be having in their life. Heal can be products that I recommend that I really love. Heal can be like things that you don't even have to pay for. Like, how can you feel grounded in your life with only having 10 minutes to yourself every day? That could be just reminding people to take a breath, and that breath that they forgot that they needed to take is something that they are worthy of. So it's always coming back into yourself. And by healing yourself, I truly believe that you heal others. So my plan is to offer a space for that. I want to speak to people. I want to do workshops. I want to empower other brands that are into certain healing modalities, whether it be a juice bar or therapy or whatever it is. I want to bring people together who are trying to help people become their best selves. And lastly, I just want to say that when I've always been into like self-help books and things like that, and I love those, but being a very sensitive person and even having dealt with both anxiety and depression, sometimes that self-help, like you're not doing enough and you need to do this, that can be very harsh to a very sensitive soul. So I really just want to create a safe space for people. I want it to be inclusive. However, my focus is on women because I'm a woman, but it really is for everyone. Yeah, so this is what is being created, and I'm really excited about the launch, which is going to be in September. And I'm still in the process of figuring out exactly what it's going to look like, but my hope is to be able to speak to people, to offer services, and to give people information that they can actually take home and put into practice that is easy, and understanding that it's going to look different for everybody.
Great. Great. One last thing. Where can people find you, April?
Okay, so my website is still under construction right now. However, when it is up, it will be aprilstormperry.com, and you can go to my website and hopefully just give me like 2 more weeks because I'm just keeping it real. Like things take time. I'm not always on top of everything as I would like to be, but I also give myself grace. So yeah, aprilstormperry.com will have all of the information about me and what I do with acting, comedy, and healing. Also, if you need to contact me right now, you can always reach me at perry.april@gmail.com. And yeah.
Social media?
Oh, social media. Okay. So I have an Instagram page. That's April Storm Perry Comedy. April like the month, Storm like the storm, and Perry like Tyler Perry, except we are not related. I do have another Instagram page, which is just April Storm Perry. However, I've been locked out of it. So if you go to it, yes, that's me, but it's not active because I can't get into it. So April Storm Perry Comedy. I'm April Storm Perry on Facebook. And when you go to my April Storm Perry Comedy page, you will also be directed to my Fit, Fab, and Fearless page. And that's really a page where me and my wife are working out, and I'm showing like what it really looks like to work out at home and really just trying to motivate people from a very real place. And sometimes I'll post some food that I made when I feel like I made like really good food decisions. And then as a makeup artist, I also have my Fresh Faces by April Instagram page. All of this is on my main page, April Storm Perry Comedy, and that kind of just shows my makeup skills because I'm really into not wanting people to look different, but really helping women bring out the natural beauty that exists inside of them already. And I will say that I got that from Bobby Brown. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing everything. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. You're coming to our Taste of Web event. You'll be
Yes.
doing a little bit of comedy.
Yes.
And I hope that I will be joining you for your launch event in September.
Yay, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me. I'm still working on that elevator pitch.
I hope you are walking away from today's episode feeling inspired. April Storm Perry is such a radiant reminder that healing doesn't happen in a straight line, that every twist, every stumble, and every unexpected turn can become part of something beautiful, powerful, and deeply authentic. Whether you're chasing a dream, rediscovering yourself, or just trying to stay grounded in the chaos of life, remember, you don't have to fit in a box. You are allowed to be multifaceted, you are allowed to evolve, and you absolutely are allowed to shine. Thank you, April, for showing up fully, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. If this episode moved you, inspired you, or just gave you that little nudge you needed, be sure to share it with a friend, leave us a review, and follow us on your favorite platform so you never miss a story that matters. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and stay true to who you are. Thank you for listening to the Web Remedy Podcast, a mindset shifting project of Web Squared. Wealth Through Entrepreneurship for Black and Brown Businesses is a North Carolina nonprofit located in Chatham County. We offer incubator accelerator business services to Black and BIPOC entrepreneurs. Our podcast hosts are Stephanie Terry and Rinnie Orr, the co-founders of Web Squared. We realize that building an ecosystem of support is critical to achieving our mission. Your donation to Web supports the podcast, Web's coaching services, and the promotion of the businesses and entrepreneurs we serve. To learn more about Web Squared, please visit our website at websquared.org.